And hello, welcome everyone. Today we're going to continue with our tallies. Okay, so in the last video, I actually gave you an introduction into how to use these tallies. And notice now I'm using a Jupyter notebook because I find that working with tallies in Jupyter notebook is much easier. And multi-group cross-sections in general. Yeah, working with multi-group cross-sections in general, all of this, all the more complex functions work better in Jupyter Notebook. Of course, you can do it in your Python 3 scripts as well, but I just prefer this for, especially when you want to run things sequentially. Okay, so basically I just copy and pasted all the Python files for XML generation into this very large notebook. And not only that, I also included, before everything starts, you should clean up everything. So remember, this exclamation mark is supposed to help you run your things in command line. So so what I do is to basically type bash and then clean in the command line. This is what it's doing. Okay, so this helps you to use your bash scripts. Okay, so the OpenMC stuff is imported, blah blah blah. You have all of this what do you call that? All of these things here, including the geometry, blah blah blah. Then you want to run OpenMC here. Okay, so that's how we get started. Okay, so once you're done running all your OpenMC in the Jupyter Notebook, at least for Jupyter Notebook this works. Okay, first thing you need to do to actually get your tally data, if you don't want to do manual calculation, is to load your state point. What is the state point file? Okay, so the state point file is over here. It is basically your output file. Okay, so state point is like your output file after your Monte Carlo calculations. Okay, it's in H5 format. So if you try and cat this, it's not going to give you anything good. Okay, so you have to use some software to read it. Okay, so one of these software is to use the OpenMC state point object. So you have to load the state point. Okay, here it says state point.50.h5. This one it says 200.h5. Why is it 200? Because you have 200 batches of neutrons running through the whole thing. Okay, so that's what the state point is about. And you save this whole thing under this SP object. Okay. After that, doing your tallies is pretty easy. To load the tallies, you just type the tallies that you want. For example, total, for example, absorption, for example, scattering. How do you have these names? Well, you refer to what you have earlier. You actually define your tallies over here: total, absorption, and scattering. So use the names here when you were defining your multi-group cross sections. Okay, so that will be it. Okay, so when you type all of this in, this will load up all your tallies. Then if you want to print your tallies, very simple, just type total.print_xs, and there you will have your cross sections for each file. Okay, you can even use pandas data frame, which I have not introduced yet, but it's a very quick thing to learn. Okay, so let me walk you through some of that. Okay, so let me save this as MGXS full example. Simple. All right, MGXS full example simple. So that is it. After running OpenMC, again I load my state point. So you got to make sure you know what your state point file is. If you're not sure, just go back to your main file here. You look for your state point. There's an IPython notebook, which is the Jupyter notebook, but the state point file is here, state point.200.h5. Okay, so just do that manually. Shouldn't be too much effort. Then I remember I had four tallies to load, or four multi-group cross sections. One is the total, one is the absorption, one is scattering, and one is fission. Okay, these are the names of my multi-group cross section objects. Alright, so one of the things I'm most interested in is, of course, the fission. Okay, fission print cross section. Okay, will be this. Then it'll give you multi-group cross section, reaction type, fission, domain type in whatever cell. domain ID is number 25, but it may differ depending on how many times you run the notebook. Okay, so group 1, you can see the energy right here, 0.625 to 20 mega electron volts. Okay, so, or 2E7. Okay, here is 5.12 times 10 to the minus 3. Okay, how do you actually get this number? Very simple. You actually you cat your tallies .out file, cat your tallies out, look for the flux in the fast region. Okay, so this is the flux in flux in the fast region is about 88.6202, right? 88.6202, and if you want to look for the fission rate, it's over here. And if you want to do cross section, just use the reaction rate divide by the flux, just like what we were explaining before. 0.453856, okay, goes to 0.45386, 453,856, sorry, 856. Okay, then you divide by 88.6202. All right, so divide by 88.6202. All right, so you get 0. Okay, let me zoom in here. 0.005121. So that's about 5.12 times 10 to the minus 3. Okay, so this is what you are actually seeing here. All right, and group 2, you have 0. You have 0 because there's no flux there and there's no fission rate there. Okay, in fact, you have some funny thing going on here. Invalid value encountered due to some true divide, blah blah blah. What I think is happening is that you are dividing 0 by 0. Maybe that's one of the possibilities. But basically, if you were to take the reaction rate divide by the flux, the energy flux, you would actually get this number straight away in barns. Okay, so this is in barns. Okay, this is the cross section. Okay, so again, if you want the total cross section, you can try another example here. Multi-group cross section is here. You have this 3.73 times 10 to the minus 1, or 0.373 barns in the fast region, and 0 barns in the what do you call that? Thermal region. Okay, because there is basically no thermal flux here. Okay, no thermal flux. All right, so because the way we designed the reactor was such that things leak up very fast. Okay, they don't get thermalized a lot. So that's what you get. All right, so the neutrons are pretty fast. Okay, so let's try again. How do we get a total cross section? We look for the total reaction rate, which is 33.04, 33. Okay, roughly 33. So 33, and the flux is 88. So 0.375. And if you look here, this is about 0.375 barns. Okay, that's how you get your cross sections for each group. And you can repeat this for every single energy group you encounter. Okay, but here I only do 2 energy groups. You can do more if you want. Just simply by changing this. Where is this? Yeah, changing this group edges thing over here. And once you change this group edges thing, it will be able to give you the multiple groups, up to 14 or 15, 60 groups if you want, however many groups you want. Just be sure to give the correct energy ranges, and then you'll be fine. All right. So, what is this thing with the pandas data frame? That's the last thing I want to go through before I call it a day for this video. Pandas data frame is, well, you can define data frame as such. Yeah, you can define data frame as such. df equals, okay, whatever reaction, and then you have this function called get pandas data frame. All right. Okay, if you type that alone, let's say you have fission, for example, fission get pandas data frame. You type that alone, nothing will print out. So to print out, you need to type this thing called df.head. Okay, so df.head is going to print out the thing. And what's that number you key in there? Okay, that's how many lines of data you actually want to have. So if I want to have 1 line of data, I will have this. And if I want 2 lines of data, I will type this, and this will give me my cross section. So it will say in group 1 my cross section is so much, standard deviation is so much. Okay, so this is it will go from the lowest energy group to the highest energy group to the lowest energy group. Again, if you forget, you can always use this print XS function in order to get your cross sections here straight away. Then you will be very sure that there's no ambiguity whatsoever. Unfortunately, of course, these are in 3 significant figures. Okay, so you won't be getting very much headway in terms of getting more decimal places, but if that's okay with you, that's fine. Okay, this is an approximation. If you really want your more accurate, higher accuracy, then I suggest you look at this scattering rates and everything. Okay, go and divide it through yourself, and use some Excel to do it. Okay, you export these tallies to an Excel, then you just divide it through yourself. Okay, so yeah, but I'm not going to show you how to export it to Excel, though there is a function. Okay, there is a function for it. Export to Excel. Okay, Excel. Okay, so if you want to export your cross-section data, you can do so. So let me export all this fission stuff to Excel, or maybe, yeah, they even have a LaTeX format. So let me just try all 3, then let's see what happens inside this Jupyter notebook. Okay, now that will be the last thing for this video. Okay, 1. Okay, I will use fission export access data, fission, and then let's do 1. Okay, so file not found error. Okay, great. Module not found. Apparently this doesn't work very well. Let's see CSV. Okay, CSV works. And then the third one will be LaTeX. Okay, so LaTeX doesn't work. Okay. Oh, okay. LaTeX, you don't spell it the special way. You spell it the normal way. Okay, so the LaTeX works and the CSV works. And CSV actually works well for Excel. It's good enough. So let's see whether we have MGXS. Yeah, I see your fission CSV is here. So let's take a look at the files, and you can see, oh yay, once you export it, all your decimal places are saved. So that's okay. Okay, next thing is your LaTeX, and this is you can just do a very quick build PDF. Okay, so you see when you have this in LaTeX, yeah, this is the code that they generate. Okay, so very, very simple. This is from TechMaker, but I didn't teach you anything about TechMaker, but that's how you do it if you want to use LaTeX. If not, don't worry about it. Okay, so that is it. Okay, alright, so I'll just say does not work for my Linux Mint system. Okay, and this is it. Thanks for watching. See you again. Bye bye.